Radnor Township Shade Tree Commission meeting. We have 4 items on the agenda this evening. The first one being 424 Boxwood Road. If that representative could step to the podium and please announce their name and their association. Thank you.
My name is David Nonamaker from Outer Spaces. I'm the contractor for the homeowner. We're going to be building a pool and 2 patios at the property.
Okay, if you could put your plans out on this table because it is projected up. Thank you. And if you could describe what your plan is, please.
In this area here, we're going to be proposing to build a new 20 by 40 swimming pool. And we're going to be putting in a new patio here. We're taking out an existing patio. And then this is a new pool patio here. And there's 2 trees denoted that were existing. They're marked to come down there, I guess, within the disturbance zone. One is actually, it was an old plan that Mom and he had used from the when they built the house. And this one is actually not there anymore. It was dead and it came down. And actually, the homeowner believes this one may be partially dead and probably needs to come down anyway. So, and then we're going to have tree protection fencing along the property line. There's some woodland area along the neighboring property line we're protecting.
Have you identified the trees within 10-foot boundary line? Excuse me.
Yeah, it's these 2 right here. There was the 2 I was mentioning. That one's actually is already gone, and the homeowner said it died a few years ago and it came down. And this is the other one here that's still existing, but she thinks the health is in decline.
So we're not looking at a current conditions plan. Is that what I'm?
Yeah, Mom and he did the site work, and it was an I guess the site plan that they had from when they had done the building of the house, which is about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
How many trees are on the other side of that line, within 10 feet on the other side? I mean, that's, I think, what we're supposed to be showing, if there are any.
Well, that's more than 10 feet on the other. So as far as across the property line?
Yeah.
It's more than 10 feet.
Are that all the trees that are within 10 feet of the property line on the adjacent property? You said it was wooded land.
Oh, I mean, they didn't, as far as do a site analysis of every tree.
You didn't?
No. I mean, as far as, most of them are smaller type of, probably 6 to maybe 10-inch caliper.
You have one 10-inch ash there that is kind of right on the edge. Is that one of the ones that still exists?
Yes. What? Yeah, those 2 exactly. The rest of them are smaller.
Have you had any conversation with a neighboring property that you're of your plans, or you've not?
I haven't. I'm not sure if the homeowner has or not.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a minimum size we're supposed to build to show on the opposite side of the line?
Yeah, the code requires at least a 10-foot The one is definitely within the 10-foot. It being a 1:30 scale, it's somewhat difficult to figure whether the 10-inch ash is within that region. Most likely, it's slightly outside.
This grade line.
Yeah, that's the issue. You've got a grade line issue going on there as well. Is that going to impact the neighbors' trees?
We really shouldn't, as far as the grade line right here.
He's bringing it down.
Yes.
Yeah, are you going,
We're not really, we really shouldn't be regrading that area. It's pretty much going to be the existing grade, because the patio is going to be pretty much at the existing grade. And there's an existing swale that comes through there, but we're not really going to be disturbing that.
Are you going to have to use heavy equipment to do digging, like run miniature bulldozers or bobcats or something on there? I mean, it's going to hurt may hurt the tree roots.
Well, I mean, we're going to need to use a larger machine to dig the pool. In here, this is just going to be a flagstone patio.
How are you going to get the machine in there?
We're coming in from the driveway side here, coming across.
And there are trees in there.
mhm.
Must have started control.
Where is this swale existing in, Howard?
That's what he's saying,
What piece has a grade line change here?
yeah. Mhm.
Did you say that swale's existing, is that correct?
Yes, right now, the water comes through here and straight down the side of the swale there.
This is coming out, this grade, this back down.
Mhm.
This is this grade line, the water's lower. He's talking this 4 feet lower.
Now, we're seeing, some grading changes that are, somewhere in the 4 to 6 foot level, within a very short distance of the neighbor's trees. It's on such a large scale, again, 1:30 is difficult to interpret.
I mean, where this new patio is going to be, we're not really going to be, I mean, sure how he's got it drawn there, but I mean, we're not really going to be changing, that grade's going to be pretty much where it is now. And then, like I said, the existing grade, everything slopes down through here with a swale, and all the water funnels down through the side yard.
Yeah, but in essence, to do that, you're going to be bringing equipment in, and it's going to be in the root zone of your neighbor's ash trees. Do you know the condition of those trees?
I mean, last time I was out there, I mean, I can't necessarily say as far as the overall health of them. I can't
Yeah,
really state
okay.
whether.
At the minimum, I would recommend a conversation at least take place with your neighbors to suggest that this is what your plan is. Is there a particular reason why that patio is being built on one side as opposed to another, or?
More or less just to still kind of maximize some lawn area.
Okay.
I'll talk to the homeowner. They may have already talked to their neighbor, or talk to their neighbor rather, but yeah, I can make sure they have a conversation.
There's no possibility of moving the pool over there.
Yeah, that's the other issue, is whether you can slide that whole thing.
About 5 feet, 10 feet?
Well, there's kind of some design issues. We kind of have it centered on, there's actually kind of a doorway, and kind of
Mhm,
part of our
yeah.
design is, I mean, it's kind of all centered on a part of the house there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that garage, does that come around to the garage in the back there? Is that where that, you see the driveway?
This is the garage, right here.
All right.
Driveway, and this is our construction access point.
Okay. No, it's not like if you move the pool, say, 10 feet to the left, that would offset it from the main part of the house and eat up a little bit of the side yard, but it would also get it away from the roots of the trees along the property line, right?
It would. But it's kind of our whole design was kind of based on a certain symmetry, like with a center line on the back of the house, and we have a covered porch that's going in this area too, the patio, and as far as the way the whole design played out.
Right.
No, I can appreciate the aesthetics, but again, if your neighbor's not in tune with what you're doing and why you're doing it, and their trees suffer, then,
Right.
so,
How, would it be a benefit to add some tree protection fence along these new plantings here as this access?
yep, your construction access?
Yes. It's right here.
Yeah. And you've got existing evergreens over there, or is that new plantings?
There are some existing plants. There were some existing plantings on this side too. We actually put some tree protection there, even though it wasn't called out. We have to transplant some plants along. There's actually some smaller material in here,
Mm-hmm.
but we typically kind of put tree protection up anyway.
Yeah, but
Just to keep-
it has to be indicated
Okay.
according to the ordinance, so I'd recommend that, in all honesty, it's a kind of a preliminary plan. It's not a final from what we're used to seeing. You need to suggest the protection fence over there.
Okay.
And again, we need to have some kind of discussion with your neighbor, because you're going to construct a patio over the root zone of their ash trees.
Okay. And I mean, for all I know, maybe the homeowner's already talked to him, but I can
Yeah.
verify that.
That needs to be confirmed.
Okay.
And then you report that to engineering, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay?
Does it need to show more trees on either side of the line?
Are those the only trees on the other side of the line? I'm assuming they are.
You're supposed to put all the trees within 10 feet of that line on the other side.
On the other side, does it matter what caliper or?
Anything over 6 inches?
Okay.
And you're not sure of that?
I mean, most of them in there are, I mean, I would say between 2 to 4 inches, right along the line. I would say this is pretty accurate as far as the 2 ashes here, and
Well, you indicated earlier that this plan is not necessarily up to date.
well, I mean, this.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to
Right.
interrogate you.
Right. But I mean, as far as, I mean, but this, I mean, I think this woodland area has changed at all. I mean, it's a very dense, I think it's open space or I think it may be wetlands that they can't develop.
You still got to set stuff.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, thank you. Okay, 237 East Lancaster Ave.
Good evening. My name is Don Petros. I'm an attorney representing Rite Aid, the applicant in this case.
Yeah, I've got to turn that mic toward you.
Okay. Don Petrosa, an attorney representing Rite Aid in connection with this matter. With me is Rich Bradley, who's the regional construction manager, and Rhett Chiliberti, who is the project engineer with Bowler Engineering. I'd like to ask Rhett to review the plan with you and show you what's proposed and address any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
This site is located at the intersection of Lancaster and Aberdeen. I'm sure you're familiar with the location. The plan that is on the table right now is the existing conditions survey. The Taco Bell is located right here, and the vacant Blockbuster is located on the west side of the property. As it currently stands today, there are few existing trees along Aberdeen. There's 3, 1, 2, and 3. And there is one street tree located here, which is on the southeast corner of the property. There are a few trees on the property, so wouldn't classify those technically as street trees, but they are close to the street frontage. To the rear of the property, off-site, are approximately 3 trees, extremely close to the property line. And that's basically the current condition of the property.
Mm-hmm.
And what Rite Aid is proposing tonight is a 14,673 square foot building, which is located on the east side of the property here. There's a parking field to the right of that. And in terms of trees, we have a mixture of deciduous type trees. The red maples are located in the middle. You see the dark green symbols are the proposed trees. The red maples are in the middle of the parking lot. And along the perimeter is basically a combination of oak, white oak, and a name that I can't pronounce is the green Zelkovid tree.
Okay.
I guess beyond the trees that we have on the site, all the green shading shown will be green landscape areas. And as part of our, I know we're not here to talk about engineering, but as part of our stormwater management for the site, we have it's a shallow, very shallow pond, which is, the term is called a rain garden, which will have some shrubs planted in there for our water quality requirement. So that's a basic overview of the project.
What are you going to do to protect, now, what are you going to do to protect the trees on the adjacent property?
We have, as part of our engineering plan set, we have a soil erosion plan, and on that plan, we're showing a tree protection fence, and it's along the property line. It runs along the property line
And
at
do
the rear.
Do the roots of those trees go under the property line?
Well, we have, it's about a 2-foot, there's like a 1-foot to 2-foot buffer between our property and the neighbor. So we have our property line, and then about 2 feet is the curb, and then it's all asphalt. And the tree's about 1 foot.
Those are big trees, if I remember right.
On
Lady who lives there is a good friend
the
of mine.
closest tree's about 1.5 feet to the property line. So we're,
But they have great big
they have
drip
a big,
lines, haven't they?
yeah. So I would assume that the roots would be there. They're running under the asphalt, so, they're, yeah, it's already asphalt today. They're running under the asphalt. We're actually increasing that buffer for our project, by,
You're going to remove some of the asphalt along the property line there?
Yeah.
Or adjacent to that?
we are, and we're increasing that buffer from about 2 feet to about 4 feet. So we'll have more green there than there is today. And the change in elevation, we're lowering it slightly by less than half a foot along there.
How much damage are you going to do to the roots of this tree, though? If you're digging up the asphalt, you're going to go down below a little bit.
Yeah, we will. We are, however, we are planting 3 trees along that back property line as well.
14-inch.
What's this height?
The significant trees, regardless of what you do, again, it's just not indifferent from the last review. I mean, you have a 14-inch tree. We don't know what kind of tree it is, what condition it's in, and it's right on the edge. You have an 11-inch tree. We don't know what type. I mean, if it was Norway maples, we would say, okay, it's not a big deal, but we have no clue what you're doing. And again, are your neighbors aware of what your plan is? They may not want to look at whatever it is you're doing here, and they're seeing those trees as buffer, and whatever you do may.
There's also a hedge along there, isn't there?
Yes, yeah.
That's why it's been built into the ordinance that you have to identify the trees within 10 feet of your boundary.
Mm-hmm. We have the caliper there, but we don't have the type of tree. So.
Right. We need to know the type of tree.
Are we at grade there, or is that stepped up a little bit?
I think it is stepped up, isn't it, somewhat? Between what you're proposing to do and what your neighbor.
Property elevation?
We'll have it's half a foot of differential.
Okay.
There is curb there today. So we're lowering that slightly.
These big trees.
They are. Mm-hmm. You're cutting into half of its root system. It doesn't, I know you're saying you're creating a wider buffer, but you're slicing its survival in half, and you're doing it on somebody else's tree. I'm not saying you personally, but
I take offense. No,
and that's why that was built into the ordinance, is to avoid those sorts of things. And if the neighbor is, again, they're not terribly worried about it, that's one thing. If you do that and it dies, then the neighbor has a right to come back at you. So that's the concern.
This is preliminary, so that we'll be back again as a
Okay. Well, that's helpful to know. That helps, yeah. So I think you need to work through those issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we need to get through the preliminary first. Thanks. Okay, where did I put my agenda? Okay, 1300 Eagle Road.
Good evening, I'm Carl Altamare, Eastern University. Routine maintenance and line clearance for high voltage lines has brought us to where we have to remove 14 trees throughout the campus. So we placed them on a map in relation to where they are, and they're numbered, and the books we provided in the beginning have them numbered with the pictures, and we've done at least one walk around that I'm aware of recently to point out the trees and what we need to do with them.
Where are the power lines running that you need to, which ones?
There's, the power lines run along the edge here.
They're above ground?
Yes, they are. And they basically start off of Fenimore, which is back here. So we actually have two sets of lines. One we call a southern line that runs between the ponds up to our Doan building here, Ott, and then back here until it gets to Andrews and McGinnis. And then we have a northern set of lines that runs up here, runs close to Eagle Road and runs down through the woods to get back to Workman Hall. Our high voltage contractor walked around with our on-staff certified arborist to point out the trees, and then we brought in Steve Schreiner to walk around as well to take a look at it, and we brought in someone from the Shade Tree Commission to, I think it was Jim Ward, to walk around as well, to look at each of the trees. We made some adjustments according to his recommendations.
I'm sorry, this is the first I've had a chance to.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is not a whole lot different than what Asplin does for Pico? Is that what we're hearing?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is similar. We're trying to keep, I think the contractor said around a 10-foot minimum between the tree and the nearest branch due to sway and wind and stuff. And
Right.
there's a couple of them that are close.
Mm-hmm.
Are you not, are you taking all these trees down, or you're just?
These 14 trees, yes. There's a great number of them that we're just pruning. But these 14, because of the amount of tree that we're taking off, they'll just be totem poles. So they basically are going to be removed. And some of them are hazardous due to other reasons, and I don't know the exact qualifications for each of them, but there's other reasons.
You're going to replant?
Yes, we calculated, I think, somewhere between 30 and 35 trees. We're going to put 50 in. I provided with the package a list of the 50 trees that we'll be putting in.
Yep.
I didn't show the exact placement of them, but our immediate desire is for protection of sight lines from the neighbors. So we tend to try and plant as much as possible around the perimeters. And then the rest we would obviously put around in other strategic locations.
Yep.
This is, this wire, actually put it back up. Put it back up, it's gonna rub against.
Okay, and 13's right next to the service road. Yeah. It's 12 again. It's amazing how much the root flare's been sacrificed over years. Yeah. Okay.
Are you likely to put some along Eagle Road there too? Or not so
Our
much?
original plan was to buffer the area behind Walton from, I guess it's Cornwall and Huston, to try and block some of that area. And then there's also a line that we'd like to put along, we call it the train path, but it's a path that leads out to Chamonix. So there's not very many trees between us and the neighbors there, so we wanted to put a good number along there. And then the other area that has concern that we'd like to put some on is between hockey field and Fenimore Park. So recent conversations have said that we're in need of a little extra buffering there, so we want to put some more there.
But that would seem to me, though, that would be one of the places, if you're going to put a driveway between that parking lot and Eagle Road, that would be right along that right away, wouldn't it?
Well, that is one of the things that's under consideration, but the more likely feasible plan is to have the road go up past where the log cabin was, connecting the Thomas Drive to the gymnasium lot. This way here with the riparian buffer zone, safety from the kids that may run off of the field, that may run into that road. This slight twist here causes some concern, and we may have to reroute the stream. So, and also when we get all the way up to here, we have the sightline considerations once we hit Eagle Road. So there are some genuine concerns with that particular route. This route here is much more feasible, and it still brings everybody to Eagle Road as the desire is. But they're both under consideration. We're looking at the feasibility of both, but like, we've ran into those concerns, which I stated. The other concern I have is, I know there's, we looked at an original draft of changes to 280, and the riparian buffer zone may increase from 35 to 75 feet. That's one of the options that's there. I don't know where that is in the process, but then that would be a real consideration to worry about there as well.
Okay. When it comes to your replant schedule,
Okay.
you know, I would strongly suggest that you pay attention to the ordinance and the tree listing that the ordinance suggests, the recommended species,
Okay.
and then also pay attention to your calipers. Make sure you've got, you know, if it's a 24-inch tree, you've got 2 trees coming back. I mean, you know, that sort of thing that's built into the ordinance.
Okay. Is there any of the replacements that you would like to change or adjust as far as the schedule is concerned? Some of these were chosen because of their shielding
Right.
capabilities more so, but we tried to get as many of
Sorry, I
the
didn't see your.
high tree, the shade trees as possible. Certainly here up would be the south side here above Walton. We're trying to screen as much as possible because we've had some concerns with shielding Walton and whatnot from Cornwell and Huston, or Houston, if that's how it's pronounced.
Okay, I'm seeing 50 blue atlas cedar.
That's a typo. Is that 50 or
You're saying the
5?
replacement schedule is 50 trees. Okay,
I didn't catch that.
that's okay. The out of the whole list, if you're really trying to screen, there's not a lot of screening material there.
Okay.
About the only screening material I see is 10 Colorado.
The Colorado.
spruce.
The dawn redwoods do not provide that much.
No,
I'm not a.
It's a
experienced-
deciduous tree.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're suggesting red oaks. Red oaks are having a lot of problems right now. You might want to go to white, the white family. There's many within the white family.
Okay. Disease problems, they're just not lasting?
Yeah, there's a bacterial leaf scorch that's ripping through the whole red oak family.
Okay.
You know, Swiss stone pine is a specimen sort of thing that takes forever to grow, so that's not going to do any screening unless you have a specimen site that you're willing, you know, to work with.
You may have had a special place in mind for that one since
Yeah.
it's just one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure where you plan.
Somewhere in center campus.
Somewhere in the center of campus. It's
Okay.
kind of a display model, I'm assuming.
That's what I'm hoping. Okay.
I saw that on your list and I really liked that tree, so I just wanted to throw one of them in there.
I mean, if you really want to do, you know, screening sorts of things, you know, you know, your Chamaecyparis or, you know, your arborvitaes, that sort of thing, that serves much better as a screening tree. So I'm just suggesting that. I'm not going
No,
to.
not a problem. And aside from this list, I've commissioned our grounds manager in a year's time to plant 100 trees. In the beginning of the year, he put 25 in. Obviously, then winter came, and
Right.
we're planning on putting the other 75. That's aside from this. This was just as a replacement for these 14 that we're taking out.
Right.
So within that, you know, we're hoping to add quite a bit of screening.
Okay. All right. Okey-doke. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is 800 Goshen Road. Please identify yourselves, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is David Falcone with Saul Ewing. I'm here with Kaz Holloway with respect to the lot at 800 Goshen Road, which is part of the Montparnasse development. This is Lot 9 in that development. You might be kind of familiar with the area right there on Goshen that they're doing all the PennDOT work with now, right there along the bridge. We are proposing to construct the home on Lot 9 as shown on the plan, set back off of Goshen Road, just for reference purposes. Right here on the plan is the bridge that's currently under construction, its former path, and the current PennDOT constructed path. The driveway we're proposing is located here, which moves back to the house, which is set to the back of the lot. You can see there's also a retaining wall located right along this planting strip there, which has dictated some of the planting we're proposing for that area. We did not show any planting down to the south, just above the stone wall at the township's
Steep slopes there.
request, that steep slope area. We are removing 65 trees and replacing, putting 114 in. The caliber of the replacement trees are going to be between 2.5 and 3 inch based on the township requirements, and the species will be in accordance with the ordinance and with the township's request. The planting has been designed in such a way where you can see here along the driveway and along the retaining wall, we have canopy trees. Further out, down into the, down closer to Darby Paoli, we have understory replacement trees. Because you have that other plan. Sorry. This plan, I think, is helpful for a visual just on what we'll be removing. Might be easier to see. Location.
Do we have a copy of that here?
I don't think so. I don't believe. This is just a blow-up of the area, not a separate plan. I just thought
It's a blow-up
of what's shown on this plan.
Okay.
Thought it might just be easier for reference purposes so you can see what's coming out. Again, Goshen Road and the driveway, and you can see right along that area where I just drew with my finger is the retaining wall, and where the home is going to be placed is right in here.
What kind of tree, most of the trees that are coming out, or what are they, deciduous trees, tall trees, or?
They're all deciduous, and there's a list of the trees that are coming out on this plan, on the first plan that I showed,
Which one is?
the tree replacement, tree species.
Okay.
But it's not like they're all pine trees or something.
No.
No. The, in your list, you have 6 maples. They're 6 to 23 inches. Do we know what type of maple that is? Pardon?
Norway maples.
Norway's. Okay.
I can't really read this,
Yeah.
so.
The one down there that that we don't have a copy of, that's just a blow-up of a piece of?
Yeah, it's this, but it's taking everything else out.
Would that be there to look at? You bring it here? Now, you're not disturbing a lot of the trees down by there's a stream right in there, right?
We're not disturbing.
No.
Actually, where the wall, the wall is on the upper side of the 100-year floodplain. So we're not disturbing any, our stormwater management plan is showing a silt sock 5 feet off the wall. All the construction will take place on the upper side of the floodplain. So we're not disturbing any trees in the floodplain. And the lot is 9 acres, and we're disturbing less than an acre. So the area where the house is going, we kept the disturbance and the number of trees to a minimum to put the driveway in.
But that 9 acres includes a stream and across the stream over the road, right? It includes all the way over to Darby Paley Road, right? The 9 acres? Yeah.
Yes. Cass, where's the building envelope on this map? That's the grading plan. No, I'm sorry. surface limit on the road. Actually, I have the grading plan here, the actual grading plan that shows the setbacks, if you'd like to see that. Right.
And for all the lots in there, just as one lot?
It's one building lot.
Okay, but this is the entire 9-acre development that was there at one time, and this is just a piece on the right-hand side, right? That's the spot right there, which is, it's one real long skinny lot there, which is that.
I'm sorry,
It's here, so it's,
Okay, that's what I meant.
right.
That's the piece which is shown on here.
yes. But the lot does have a leg that goes up to the cul-de-sac. If you look at the small legend, there's 8 lots on the Montparnasse Place, and then Lot 9 extends up and connects to the cul-de-sac in 2 locations.
Lot 9 itself is 9 acres.
Right.
Lot 9 itself is 9 acres,
Right.
irrespective of the other development.
Technically, the building setback line is off the road, but because of the stream and the 100-year floodplain, the 100-year floodplain becomes the setback line because we can't build.
You can, the setback lines are shown here, 60-foot front yard, 25 side yard, and 40 rear yard.
The steep slopes are dictating.
They dictate the most, right, irrespective of the setbacks required by the township.
Okay, this is similar to a previous plan we saw tonight. 1 in 40 scale is difficult to envision. On a lot this size. Do you have a proposed, it's on this one, isn't it?
Here's the lot finger, right? That's the finger.
But I can't see any existing trees.
Yeah.
30-inch, I mean, we're at 140. You know, 30-inch, 30 feet off this cut. I can't really read it. I know, but I can't read that
wanna
in
see this?
respect to where the cut is.
I asked Angelo Capuzzi, our engineer, for that because I thought it might be helpful.
I mean, it's the scale we need to, like, we can't read that other map. The scale's too small to see the diameters of the trees in relation to where your cuts and fills are and the impact. I can't make any difference between what's what.
That's the 24 inch?
There's some big wood up here. I mean, it's hard to see.
There's a number of heritage trees, but 14 of them are poplar, tulip poplar. Three ash and 1 beech. And a lot of the trees are really in need of pruning. I mean, they're.
I mean, it's a beautiful wooded lot.
Yep.
On steep slopes. So, hard for me to see from that, from the map that you have.
No, I agree.
I believe we submitted the plan that's required, the scale that's required. What would you,
I mean, we can't,
Like-
from the plan, from the other plan of 140, I can't see the differentiation of diameters of trees in regard to where your cuts are going to be made for these retaining walls. The distances here are very hard for me to see of the trees that are in light here underneath.
right?
So you might be into the root section.
Well, yeah, there's a lot going on here.
You want a globe of that? I mean, twice the size, or 3 times.
We have trees that are under, these trees are superimposed
You can't see.
on top of our trees, so I can't see
Yeah,
what's
this?
underneath. I got a 30-inch oak, 40-inch oak. I mean, we got big wood, and you got stuff superimposed on top of it.
We were only asked to provide the replacement tree plan. You submitted the grading plan, you should have, do you have? Our application, we submitted the grading plan. And this is it, without the replacement trees. So
Right.
this might be more helpful. I mean, what's really nice, if you look where the wall's located on the 100-year floodplain, and you look at the larger map, there's very little impact where
Where does that wall run along?
well, this was the old carriage trail, you see this? That's why we were not required to do any of the trees. I mean, this is as heavily wooded as this is. But if you look at where the wall will go, we are not within any of the trees other than this 15-inch oak right here. I mean, there's when we put the wall in, there's only a possible impact on 2 of the trees in the floodplain. And then, of course, you can see these trees here are above the wall.
Right.
So there will be no impact to this, and that's why I thought it would be helpful to show this with.
Could you draw it? Can you draw parts of the wall?
Sure. The driveway comes in here, and there's a small wall that holds there, and then the driveway is in this area here. There's a circle right in here, and then the house sits back here. But the wall itself,
The retaining wall,
it runs right like that. Right on actually, it's right on the grade line of the 100-year floodplain, which I believe is 15 feet above the creek.
And you have another retaining wall up here.
Yeah, that other retaining wall actually sits below these trees. It sits like this and curves like that and curves down. Actually, it's more like that. So the reason he has these trees coming out, we have to, of course, build the wall and allow for the groundwater and rainwater to drain in both directions around the wall. But there will be no impact to this line of trees up in here.
Now, this is a slope right now, and you're going to basically make it flat, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're basically,
That's
instead of
why
having a
there's,
slope here, you're
that's
having
why,
tiers like
you-
this.
that's why there's two walls, this wall and then the lower wall. And then the house acts as part of the foundation of the house acts as part.
So the only way that you can actually do the kind of thing you're doing is to take out all of those trees.
Yes, to get the driveway to be able to get to the buildable area of the lot.
Got a lot of dynamite, Cass?
Why?
It's pretty rocky there.
When we built the 8 houses, it was rockier on the top of this mountain. I think a lot of the silt of the last millennium ended up where we are. Actually, we did probes for the stormwater management system. We perked for the stormwater management system, and the rock was 5 to 6 feet down below this area right here, which we anticipate. And the house is sitting up, actually. The foundation sits up at this point, and then the occurs here, just below the upper wall. So we don't anticipate a blasting situation.
You might, no, it's okay.
Basically what they're doing is this.
Yeah, I know. Yep. My recommendation is that Shade Tree Commission do a site visit on this.
I'd like to see that plan.
If that's okay with you all. You know, as Jim stated, there is a lot going on here, and it's very difficult to comprehend off of paper. And I think it would be very helpful if we could come out on site and see what you're proposing and help in any way we can.
What would help me a lot on site is if we could have some demarcations of where this
Yep.
cut's going to be.
Yep.
So we can talk about the trees that are uphill from the cut. Okay.
Yeah,
and
we can
the-
see where
the proximity
that
of it.
wall's going to be.
I'll have our engineers stake out the floodplain, which they already have most of the stakes in for
Okay.
that, where the house will be located and where the 2 walls will be located.
That'd be great.
Okay. When would you be able to make the visit?
Well, we'll have to pull ourselves together on that because we don't know, our particular daily schedules. One of our members is absent tonight, and we have no idea as to what his schedule is, so.
Yeah. No, I really would welcome the opportunity to walk the site with you, and if it's okay, I can even have our arborist, Mr. Schreiner, attend, if that would be
Yep.
satisfactory.
That'd be wonderful.
But I think if you will allow the time, I'd like to walk the carriage trail with you so that you really can get the flavor for the whole 9 acres, not just where we're going to be building, because I think you'll be able to see that we're really protecting 8 of the 9 acres.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Will it be necessary then to attend next month's meeting?
Most likely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you'll do the site walk before that, right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll do the site walk. We come back, we officialize it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave that plan with them, cast the ball.
Yeah, what do you need from here?
You can take it over.
No, I can't.
Kids will drive it back. Full value to the-
Okay, that's yours, this is ours. Okay. That's,
That's the big,
That's the follow-up.
If we could keep this, yeah, this would help with our walk. Thank you. Okay, we had 3 hazardous tree reports. A 42-inch ash that had been storm damaged at 459 Huston Road, 24-inch elm that was dead at 1300 Eagle, and a 30-inch black wild cherry, and all 3 of those have been approved. Our next meeting, I believe, is April 27th. Is there any other business? Okay. Yeah, there is an Arbor Day. What I understand is it's going to be conducted on the Radnor Trail, and a local scout troop, I think a Cub Scout troop, is going to be involved in that one, and that's really about all I know at this point. Yeah, it's been, right. So I will keep you all informed as I hear more, but it's in the works. Okay, thank you.